Hey, today I'm talking about 3 movies featuring the actress Tiya Sircar. And the names of those 3 films are A Gingerbread Christmas, Good Sam, and Miss India America. First up is A Gingerbread Christmas. This is a 2022 Christmas movie, if you couldn't gather by the title. And it's honestly pretty good. The basic premise is exactly what you would expect. It hits literally every single beat from a cliche Christmas movie. Like, they didn't stray from the formula at all, which is definitely counting against the movie. But there is a lot I like about it. What really truly makes this movie is Tiya. She is so delightful and charming. Like, her smile just melts me. She is such a joy and presence to be around. And I do think the story was interesting, even though it is cliche. There's a lot of stuff about her mom, and I think that's very sweet. They made sure to be very inclusive in this, which I really liked. They feature a gingerbread mosque, which looks so cool. The end worked really, really well. It's just a very charming and pleasant, cliched movie. So, if that sounds appealing to you, definitely give this a watch. Like, if you want a good, fun, very traditional Christmas movie, this is a good, fun, very traditional Christmas movie with a very charming lead, who I definitely got a big old crush on after watching this movie. So yeah, just suss out your emotions, and if you think you can handle this made-for-TV movie, yes, definitely give it a watch. Next up is Good Sam. This is a 2019 Netflix movie based off a book of the same name, and the basic premise is there is this reporter who always gets the dirty stories, the crime and the destruction and whatnot. But the higher-ups at the news station are like, yo, she's an insurance liability. Put her on some soft stories, so she gets put on a soft story. And it turns out that there's this individual who's going around giving people $100,000 in cash, but he's anonymous. So he's a good Samaritan. So she needs to figure out who this guy is and what's his agenda. Where did he get that money? Was it illegal or was it somewhere sincere? And yeah, now this movie's nice. Tiya, again, is delightful and charming. She definitely, without a doubt, carries this movie. The story was very predictable. It's a mystery, but I figured out the mystery right away. And I don't think that's the worst to know where the movie's going. I do kind of wish there was like a bit more to it, just a bit more complicatedness. I do kind of wonder, because it is based off a book, if there is a bit more to the book, the mystery in there. Like, a great example of a missed opportunity is the bags that this individual puts the money in and leaves on the doorstep. It has an 8 that's mostly horizontal, and I'm like, that's an infinity symbol. And everyone's like, that's an 8. And I'm like, no, 8s are upright. Horizontal means it's the infinity symbol. Well, okay, it was actually an 8. It ties into the story. But like, that would have been a great moment for them to be like, oh, why is there this infinity symbol on this bag? And them going down the wrong rabbit hole because they misunderstood this symbol in the way that I misunderstood it. Because it makes sense for that to not be an 8 because it's horizontal. That's an infinity symbol. Anyway, so it's just kind of little stuff like that, just a little more avenues to go down. I did still like this movie. I did still enjoy it. There's more books in this series, and if Netflix were to make more of these movies, I would watch them for sure. I was entertained the whole time, and Tiya is, of course, delightful and charming and just very lovely. I don't think they're going to, because as of recording, it's been 5 years since the last one, so I'm not truly holding my breath, but again, I would watch it, Netflix. Would I recommend it? Honestly, yeah. It's not a bad time. Like, if you want just a nice, light, simple kind of snack of a movie in a sense, yeah, then go for it. It's not a bad time. Really, any time with Tiya is not a bad time. So yeah, I'd recommend it. And lastly is Miss India America. The basic premise is this young woman just graduated from high school, but her boyfriend then breaks up with her to date a beauty pageant queen. So she decides to join a beauty pageant to prove him wrong. And it's fine. Tiya is, of course, delightful and charming. The biggest, weirdest flaw with this movie is the audio. For a minute, I was concerned that like my TV was broken, but what seems like happened, audio is waves and recording sound. You need to set it so that like the top part of the waves aren't getting cut off. They're not getting blocked. And whoever recorded this audio set that too low. So if anyone even slightly raised their voice, it sounded like their voice was hitting a wall. It sounded really bad. And I'm like, how did no one notice this? How could they have shot an entire movie not realizing that the audio was terrible? I don't know. So that was distracting and definitely brought the movie down a bit. The story's interesting, but like it's not acted well by most of the supporting cast. If you recognize the actor, which there's a few recognizable people, Cece from New Girl's in this, those people do good. But if it's not a face you know, they were trying, but it wasn't great. So yeah, I did put this in like, because I did find it charming and interesting, but there were a lot of issues with the film, a number of them had to do with production that really hindered the movie. I think if they had more money to make this movie, that it could have been something really interesting, but because of their budget or whatever, it had issues. So would I recommend it? If you're curious about it and you set your expectations kind of lower, yeah. Because I did still like it, but like, I don't think it's really gonna blow your mind or anything. It's not a bad story, but it's not the most incredible story. So take that as you will. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got Gingerbread Christmas sitting at number 57 in the quite like section. And then after that is Good Sam sitting at number 70 in the liked section. And then bringing up the rear, not too terribly far behind, is Miss India America sitting at number 73, again in the liked section. And this is a total of 96 old movies so far this year. Quick aside, the whole reason I wanted to do this theme of Tiya Sircar films, besides the fact that she's really pretty and I have a crush on her and she's really charming and delightful, is that I recently got to meet her at C2E2. And she was delightful and charming, and I just want to quickly talk about my experience meeting her. I took notes. Obviously, I love her from Star Wars Rebels, but I also watched her in The Good Place, and then also the show The After Party. I've only watched the first season of, but really, really like and would totally recommend. The premise is there's this after party to a high school reunion, and there's a murder that happens. It's a murder mystery, but each episode is told from a different character's perspective, and so each episode has a different genre. So like there's a romantic movie one, there's a high school movie one, there's a musical episode, and they're all really, really fun and delightful. So her character unfortunately didn't get her own themed episode. So I asked what her genre would have been. She first said musical with like very main character energy, forgetting that there was a musical episode. We talked about how great that one was though. And then she's like maybe more of like a film noir vibe, but again with like very hardcore main character energy. Like she's the most important person in the room type of vibe. She was also sad that she wasn't in season 2. She said that she loved my costume. This is what I was dressed as. It's from Star Wars, the High Republic era. It's a whole thing. She gave me lots of nice compliments about that, which was very, very sweet and kind of her. And she said that my hard work really showed. And like, I was definitely blown away with like how beautiful she was in person. I've met a number of celebrities through going to fun conventions, but like, I was really just like taken aback with just like how gorgeous she was. Like, obviously she's a Hollywood actor, so they're generally more on the attractive side, but like, whew, dang. Impressed with myself that I was able to hold it together. But she was also just like super kind and super nice, which also would make me like even more flustered in general. And just a great smile and such a good positive energy. So I would say if you ever get a chance to meet Tiya, totally do it. It is definitely a worthwhile experience. She's really kind and passionate. She's just everything you want out of a celebrity experience. So yes, thoroughly enjoyed my time meeting her and would totally recommend it.